Hello. Good evening, good morning. I decided I would start a little bit early today. I know that we have a few viewers who can't stick around for too long on the stream, so I just wanted to give us an early start. Make sure that all the technical aspects are doing okay here. And hopefully the music's not too loud. I think last week we didn't even have the music, so this is a step up already. But we're going to do all kinds of things today. We're going to we're going to talk about a kind of very depressing movie, animated movie, and then later on, as a palate cleanser, something more positive, I'll be playing some Unbeatable White Label, which is a demo for the upcoming game. I've made some videos about it before, so you might be familiar. But yeah, just something happy, more upbeat to kind of balance out the Birdboy discussion, which is going to be a whole thing. But for now, neither of those things. For now, we're just hanging out, just saying hi. Purple says hi. How's it going, Purple? It's good to see you here. And we got Half-A already put a comment in here too. That's great. I hope Half-A manages to stop by for the stream. And I also I have a janky workaround to have the chat actually on stream here visually. YouTube and OBS don't work as well together as OBS and Twitch. So this is just a cheap workaround to have your comments show up on the stream itself. I hope everyone's okay with that. Purple says, yeah, I was waiting for 9 o'clock, but got the notification when watching JoJo. Yeah, well, I think we're just about at 9 o'clock for your time zone, Purple. But yes, otherwise, yeah, we always do 6 p.m. Pacific time for anyone out there who's new, or for anyone who happens to be watching the archive of the stream later on, which have been doing okay. I think that's kind of funny, actually, is how the stream archives tend to get a lot more views within the first couple days than a lot of my regular videos. So I guess that's a positive thing. I'll take it as a positive, for sure. But yeah, we'll give it some time. We'll wait, especially since we're early. We're just going to hang out for a while. Let people show up if they want to, and then we'll be getting to our discussion, our Birdboy, the Forgotten Children discussion, which is certainly something worth discussing, I think. Oh, and in case you're wondering about well, don't worry about the cat, but in case you're wondering about the text up at the top here, yes, indeed. I already edited and uploaded a full review. I mean, it's not really a review. It's more of just a discussion thing. But I uploaded that a couple days ago, and I scheduled it to release tomorrow morning. I think it's like 7 a.m. Pacific time. The specific time isn't that important, but beyond our discussion here, you will be able to watch that video if you feel like it. I just think in that video I was a bit more organized with my thoughts. When I talk about certain things on stream, I don't think I don't always have the presence of mind to really organize everything and to have a really structured discussion. It's more just whatever comes to mind at the moment. There's no editing, obviously, and then just responding to what other people are saying about it at the moment. So yeah, so if you're looking for something a little more structured, a little more, slightly more in-depth, and with a sort of probably a bigger range of ideas, you can check out that video tomorrow morning. I think it's all right. It's a very, it's one of those quicker videos. Again, it's not a full review, since I only watched the movie for the first time a few days ago. But you'll definitely get some thoughts out of it. I definitely have quite a few thoughts on the movie. execution, potential ideas and themes, and yeah, a lot of what it seemed it was trying to do, but we're not there quite yet. In the meantime, Purple says, yeah, it's the cat cam again, but with a live cat this time. That's right. Yeah, she hangs out, she hangs out sometimes. Let me switch the music here too. I want something a little lighter for the moment. Now that I'm talking over it, I can play copyrighted stuff and hopefully not take a hit for it. I think I've only gotten a copyright claim on one of the streams so far. I'm guessing it was for the marriage story, not Marriage Story. Well, basically, the HBO miniseries Scenes from a Marriage, because we watched that trailer a number of weeks ago together on the stream. I have a feeling that some of the music, the accompanying music in that one, got tagged for copyright, but I didn't look because I'm not going to challenge it. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. I kind of expected that to happen. This is my very good bird boy. The proportions are already, we've almost got like bell bottoms going on here. Oh, bird boy, what were you thinking? Oh my goodness. I should have a reference photo or something pulled up. That's okay. So, Purple says I got a copyright claim for it. Maybe. It was that week. It was the week that we watched the Scenes from a Marriage trailer. It could have been any other number of things. I think that was the same week, maybe, where we watched the Dokev Pokemon similar game trailer. It could have been that, because there's some like K-pop song in that. Although other people have been re-uploading that trailer all over the place, and I don't see any problems there. But that's fine. I'm not in the partner advertising program anyway, so it's not super. It's not really a huge deal when we get those on a stream or any video, really, especially if it's a low view count video. It's fine. But yeah, I'm just kind of doing some doodling here. As per usual, I think it's nice to have some kind of visuals going. Some markers lined up here. Yeah, okay. We'll leave that alone for now. It certainly doesn't look like Birdboy's clothing at all. But what do we want to have over here? Let's see. We can put a classic. A doodle classic is just some like vague mountain shapes. Very basic. I wonder if we would get a copyright claim for watching commercials on the stream. I wouldn't be opposed to like watching cheesy commercials during the stream. I wouldn't make anything from it, of course, but I don't think who would copyright claim those anyway? Like the ad agency who made the commercial? Would it be the brand that's being advertised? Would they claim it for some reason? I feel like they would just be happy that someone's like organically sharing it around in some way, you know? Very loose lines here. Why don't I do an Animal Crossing stream? I didn't think of that. Yeah. Purple asks, you're drawing Birdboy. Who is that exactly? Yeah, kind of. Kind of. It started out like, oh, I bet I could draw Birdboy's head. Seems to be easy enough. And this is well, it's not a super important comment on Birdboy. We're not into the discussion yet at all. But something I did notice about Birdboy, specifically the art direction, not all of it, not the environments, but character design specifically. A lot of it was reminding me of stuff that I used to see on DeviantArt back in, like, I don't know, 2009, 2010. Even like the shading on Birdboy himself reminded me of, Yeah, just like, you know, illustration community stuff that popped up over the years when that site was still much more relevant than it is now, of course. But I did think that was kind of funny. It reminded me of some very specific artists working on there, doing like cutesy creatures, loose shading, just perfectly round circle heads, simple bodies, that kind of thing. Purple saying, I think speculating on the, you know, showing commercials on a stream, that yeah, it would be given a free promotion in a way. Even if you're saying bad things about the commercial, it probably would kind of count as some form of promotion, just because you're making people watch the ads themselves. And that's one of the reasons why I would be hesitant to do that. I think I don't even as a joke, I don't really want to make people watch commercials for stuff, especially if I don't like the company behind the thing. So, you know, okay, we're just kind of going, yeah. So what's been going on this week? What is going on in people's lives? Well, not too personal, of course, but I hope it's been a pretty good week for everybody. The end of the week kind of snuck up on me, but that's just the small talking. Let's go back to some Animal Crossing music. Too loud. You go down here, Animal Crossing music. I don't mind listening to you loud, but I don't want the stream to be flooded with that. Purple says, looked up Birdboy and your stream popped up. Cool. Hey, there we go. I mean, it might be, the algorithm might know that you've seen some of my stuff before and they were pushing it up. But hey, if it's just naturally towards the top of the search for Birdboy right now, that's cool. But then again, and this is something that I think I touch on in the video that'll go up tomorrow, is that I never... I didn't see a lot of other people talking about Birdboy online. I didn't see a ton of stuff on YouTube. The videos that we're talking about it had relatively low view counts and stuff. So I get the feeling that Birdboy hasn't been hasn't made like a huge splash. And if that's the case, I definitely have some guesses as to why that is. But that does seem to be the case, just based on my very, minimal kind of cursory research when I was looking into the movie and trying to make the video after the fact. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if we were one of the only channels actively talking about Birdboy right now on YouTube. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe YouTube suddenly likes me in the channel and they just want to push us right to the top. Purple's week's been good. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. It's been okay. I think it's been very average. I think I can usually tell when a week has been average because I forget most of it. I forget like 70% of the things that happen just because it wasn't, none of it was really of note, you know? So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. No big news. No big news for the channel. Nothing like that. Purple says, I see things from 3 years ago or 1 year ago for Birdboy. Yes, that's the thing. So the movie itself was originally released in 2015, I think, in terms of like released in Spain and perhaps other nations in Europe. But as is the case with plenty of international releases, it didn't have U.S. or North American distribution for a couple years after that. G Kids, I think, now has the distribution rights, at least in the U.S. for Birdboy. I think I just have to put I think after everything in this one. This might be right. Grains of salt everywhere. So it makes sense that like there hasn't been a ton of buzz about it for other reasons as well. But just the fact that, yeah, it's actually kind of an old movie. Not an old movie, but it's not fresh. It's not brand new. I had a similar experience with Ernest et Celestine, the French movie from, I forget all the directors' names. And I think whenever I look it up, I find like different release dates for that movie. I'll find like, I'll find 2009, 2011, 2012, and it's like, okay, which one is talking about the initial release? Which one is talking about a theatrical release? Which one is talking about, the first American distribution of like a DVD or streaming release? So it gets kind of confusing when you sort of wander into that world of international animated stuff, especially if it skews more towards adult animation, I think. I don't know. I get the impression that plenty of distribution companies, or maybe even theaters, are still kind of behind the times in terms of understanding that adult animation is a thing, like that it actually has a pretty darn big audience. I wouldn't be surprised at all to hear theater chain executives, if those even exist, or distribution company heads just assuming that if it's animated stuff, it has to have an audience with children, younger people, teenagers, whatever. I don't know if a lot of those kinds of companies really understand that actual adults and young adults, whoever, there are plenty of other demographics who are into animated stuff right now. Especially when there's an interesting style involved, or it's trying to hit on some heavy subject matter. Yeah, gosh. But we'll get there. We'll get to Birdboy. We're still early on, man. We're early on. I got to drink some more coffee here. Oh, doing some stretching. I hope everybody's stretching enough. Oh. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see if I just want to check on the stream real quick on another device so that I can make sure it looks okay. Turn down the volume. Is it going to work? Here you go. Okay. Is it going? Okay. It's going. Cool. I'll just leave that running. That'll be like my special monitor to make sure that the stream is looking okay. Purple says, coffee at 6 p.m. where you live. There's no question mark, but I'm assuming there's like an implied question mark there. Like, what are you doing drinking coffee at 6 p.m.? I'll drink coffee at pretty much any time of day, I think. I think just the other day I was drinking coffee at like, not super on purpose, but I happened to be drinking coffee like, I don't know, 9 or 10 p.m., which is probably not a great idea. But it was fine. I can get to sleep okay, usually, regardless of the caffeine, so don't really mind. Okay. Now, what else am I doing? I'm getting into shading already on this thing, and I don't even have, like, there's no plan here. There's nothing happening on this page. We have Beatles Birdboy down here doing something. I don't know. Depth is a thing that I don't really achieve with a lot of the, it's just the sketchy stuff. If I could do like a decent representation of like a forest tree line here, I don't think I've ever really been able to do that. How high up do we put it? You know, it's just going to end up looking like a cloud or something. I don't know. Whatever, it's fine. Purple says, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Okay. Sure. That's very fair. That's your right. Oh, look, Hugo's here. Hello, Hugo. Thanks for joining us. How's it going? Yeah, I guess this is a pretty normal work hour for you. So I appreciate the effort to tune in, check things out. I started a little bit earlier today, about 10 minutes early. But we have not gotten into Birdboy yet. We have not gotten there. We will. We will. I'll say, like, I don't know, 6:20, maybe 6:30. I'll give people a little bit more time to come by if they feel like it. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to get into some Birdboy talk. And then in the meantime, I don't know what I'm doing with this. Yeah. How about... I see another way, but I feel like I've already messed it up. How about we give him a rock to stand on like this? Why does this rock, which is very triangular, kind of looks like a Dorito? It's making me think of Breath of the Wild for some reason. It doesn't make a ton of sense. I do like the rocks in Breath of the Wild. Okay, shading. I'll do shading later on. I'll take care of that later on. And now, if this is looking out to like this other island, then this would be the back of Birdboy's head. So we don't have to worry about the, we don't have to worry about the eyes and everything, his weird, creepy eyes, or the suit. Although I haven't done a good representation of the suit back here at all, have I? I could just fill this in, I guess. Did anybody end up watching the Bob Ross Netflix documentary? It was trying to be like, ooh, look, scandal and intrigue. There was infighting over the rights to Bob Ross's work and legacy and all that stuff. I saw it pop up like exactly once, maybe on the day of release. And right away, I just kind of assumed, okay, that's another Netflix documentary trying to get into almost the true crime area again. And after that, I was like, I'm good. I probably don't need to actually watch it. But yeah, did anyone else see that? If you did, please let me know if it was actually worth the time, because I was not super intrigued by the premise. Music's a little bit louder. That's okay. That's okay. I kind of wish I had a live mixing board. I have a mixer too. I have this 4-channel mixer, but it wouldn't make sense with a stream unless I had a bunch of like hardware or like analog inputs. Like, it would just be stupid. So I don't end up using it for anything. Oh boy. But anyway, how's it going, Hugo? Are you doing all right? Yeah, it seems like you're doing okay. Yes, Hugo is one of the main folks recommending that we watch Birdboy as part of the kind of book club, cartoon club that we've been doing, in case you're new or in case you're watching the archive. We usually try to watch something, either a show or movie or part of a show or an animated movie, so that we can talk about it the following week. This past time was Birdboy. I've been putting it off for a couple weeks. We did other things instead for a while because I couldn't find it for free to stream anywhere, and then, I don't know, wanted to watch the other stuff instead. And I think it was another one of our chat regulars who brought up the movie initially, if I remember correctly. So So I hope they can make it too, just because we're going to be chatting about it. I hope they haven't been waiting too long for us to actually get around to that movie. But yeah. So we'll see what we end up doing for discussion next week. But yeah, I think this was definitely a good choice overall. It's definitely not a movie that I would have... Wrong pen. It's definitely not a movie that I would have probably sought out myself or found even. I hadn't heard of it at all. And like I said earlier, it's not exactly new. So that's kind of interesting. It just didn't... No marketing reached me. I didn't see any trailers. Heard no reviews of it. Nothing like that. So, you know. Purple says, it's Bob Ross. Just follow this tutorial, and you can make the same thing. You know, I don't think I've ever done a full Bob Ross painting project episode thing. I'm gonna switch the music here too. I haven't. I know for a while. I don't know if they're still selling it. Whoever does hold the rights to all his stuff used to sell like a kit. It was basically like, here's the basic stuff that he would expect you to have to follow along with, you know, these painting tutorials, I guess we can call them. Even though it's not explaining concepts, it's just like, here's a very specific thing. Here's a very specific shape you can make on the page. Here's a specific, you know, scene that we're going to create with exactly this composition. So there was definitely a time in my life where I wanted to try that out, because I hadn't really done any painting. I've done a little bit of it now, the tiniest amount, but yeah, that was exciting for a while. I never got the kit. It was kind of expensive, so hopefully it was of high quality. But yeah, no, I never, I don't know. I've never followed along. I think I've had some friends who have done that, where they'll actually follow along and do the whole thing along with Bob Ross, which is a neat idea for sure, especially if you don't have a ton of experience with that. I'm sure it would feel exciting to be like, look, I made this. It looks good, and I did it. I didn't think of the ideas or anything, but it looks all right, you know? That's still something to be proud of. Yeah. I wonder if I need to talk over the Katamari music a lot. I don't know if they claim stuff, because they don't really sell the Katamari soundtrack anywhere that I've been able to find. They sell it on like vinyl and limited releases some places. I'm sure they've sold it in Japan, but I'm going off the assumption that it's okay to play Katamari music here. And I love it. Oh, man, especially the soundtrack to the first Katamari game. Wow. That's some good stuff. That is some good stuff. Hugo says, look at those happy trees. I wish I had some happy trees in here. You could pretend that any part of this is a tree. Why do my hands look so red? Maybe it's the... Oh, I remember. I turned up the saturation on the webcam. So everything looks like way more intense than it actually is. Which is fair enough. I think it's fine. All right. Well, we're getting there. We're almost to Birdboy time. So I'm going to get my notes pulled up here. I also have some notes for another potential video that I want to do soon. But we got our Birdboy notes here. We're going to get into it. Just as like a precursor, and it is a discussion. Anyone feel when we get to the discussion, anybody feel free to jump in, throw some stuff out there. Feel free to disagree, share your own thoughts. But just as a heads up, I feel like at a certain point, I'm going to start ranting on one topic or another related to Birdboy. So just kind of be prepared for that, I guess. It's nothing too incendiary or intense. Yeah, I know Hugo. It was almost his catchphrase, the happy tree thing. I think that's what they tend to put on the like t-shirts and stuff, you know, with his big afro. But yeah. I did spill. Oh my gosh, it must be the coffee. I did spill the beans about the new video, Purple. There's not much to say. It's just my more organized thoughts about Birdboy. And I didn't want to release it before this discussion because, like, you know, I promised I'd talk about it on stream. I just want everybody to... I want us to have that talk here first. And then if you want the extra stuff, you know, if other viewers who weren't here for the stream would prefer that video, they can do that instead. And it was quick to put together, so it wasn't like a crazy project or anything. But yeah, that's that. I'm sure I'll be reiterating certain points that are in the video, but that's okay. This is almost improv-y, you know what I mean? And I'm sure I'll think of new things too. That's one of the advantages of streams is I think there's just less pressure to have everything completely worked out and super logical in advance. It's like, no, just whatever comes to mind is fine. Whatever comes to mind, it's all right. I wish I could do... There's not a lot of space up here, but I wish I could do, like... Just... I love doing clouds, but I don't know. Yeah, even that's too big. Oh, well. Oh, well. I guess I should ask. So, at least the people in the chat, I think we have a few more people here, but, like, at least for the folks in the chat. Hugo, I know that you've seen Birdboy. Purple, have you seen Birdboy at all? I don't know if you were here at the end of the stream last week when we said that we were going to do it as the discussion. So if you haven't, please also be aware that there will be at least a few spoilers in here too. Again, just a heads up. Yeah. I just need to stop thinking about this little dude. I just have to keep moving with it, you know. Yeah. Okay. I should get some more pens up here. That's fine. Oh, and I guess, sorry, Purple, if you were referring to the video that I sort of implied here with the other notes and stuff. I have many pages of notes, that other one. I don't know if you were, but I'll talk about it anyway. I don't know if you guys saw my video. I think I put it up, I don't know, a week ago or something, where it was just like a kind of a think piece. It was very open-ended, and it was talking about ways to subvert YouTube algorithm as we understand it to operate from just the viewer-creator point of view. This other video, I don't necessarily know whether it'll be the next one that I want to release, but it's another one of those style of videos on a completely different topic. This one's much more heavily related to animation, but it's still very much abstract, open-ended, kind of one-person discussion, hoping to get other people involved in the discussion, that kind of thing. It's probably going to be long, too. I have like 5 pages of notes there. I really... But that's the thing with that style of video, which is still pretty new for me. I want it to be very open-ended. I want it to feel just like off the top of your head. I forget what the fancy word is for that. But but yeah. Purple's asking who the pink hair girl is in the thumbnail. That's the lead character in Unbeatable, which is a rhythm game, anime-style rhythm game, and I'm going to be playing that game on the stream later if the internet connection holds up and if it doesn't crash the stream. So I inserted her in the thumbnail at the last minute, like, oh, and also we're going to do some fun stuff too, because the Birdboy thing, which it's more or less time to get into Birdboy, it's very dour. You know what? This is a great transition point too. But yeah, I want to play that game. It's going to be sort of a palate cleanser. That's us coming out of the darker subject matter into just some fun stuff. But yes, Birdboy is so much darker than I expected. And I don't know whether that's on me or I don't know. Maybe it's on the trailer. I watched, the only trailer I watched before seeing the movie was the G-Kids trailer. And yeah, like I said, they have the distribution rights, I guess, for the US at least. There's no dub of the movie as far as I know. It's just the original Spanish audio for all the dialogue. But Yeah, so how many disclaimers do I put out here? This movie deals with some really, really heavy stuff. And, you know, not just heavy for the world of the movie, but heavy for, like, our world, the one that we all live in right now. So one of the biggest elements of the movie is substance abuse of different kinds, but specifically there are repeated instances of heavy narcotic use. It's implied to be heroin on a couple occasions. I think there may be also some pills floating around. I don't quite remember. And on top of that, you just have some like abusive situations or arguably abusive relationships. You also have a kind of massive amount of graphic violence in this movie too. It's a lot. It's a lot is what I'm saying. So this is us moving into the Birdboy discussion because there's a lot to get into, but I just wanted to say up top, it felt very unexpected to hit such heavy subject matter and really crazy visual stuff. I was not expecting that from the movie at all. Not a good or bad thing, just surprising for sure. Anyway, Purple says there's this upcoming show made by the Samurai Jack guy. I assume that would be Gendy Tartakovsky, called Unicorn Warriors. I think it's still in the works, though. Sorry if you're getting off topic. That's fine. Don't worry about it. It's very low-key. Every stream is low-key, if that hasn't been clear by now. I have my sweatpants. I got some nice new sweatpants. I don't usually buy sweatpants. This is also me avoiding the Birdboy discussion a little bit. But these are very nice sweatpants. I now understand why these are so popular. Yeah, I don't even want to use them for like working out, you know? I don't want to get them all sweaty and stuff. They're just the nice... I almost prefer these to some of my pajama pants. Pajama pants are just a different flavor, I guess, of pant-toe relaxation, which is a term that's real now because I said it. And it's on the internet. Okay. But sorry, I will write that down though. Unicorn Warriors? Okay. I have not heard of that. I saw Gendy's Primal. I did a video on it that people didn't like very much. But I was unaware of this one. Is Primal done then? They definitely teased a second season, at least. Okay, Birdboy. Here he is. Kind of. Okay, what do I have in my notes here? Yeah, okay, so... Talking about sweatpants is much more important than Birdboy. I think they're about even. No, so, okay, and I'll get this out of the way here. I like Birdboy. I think I like the movie quite a bit, actually. I have positive feelings towards it. In fact, there was a moment the other day where... I think it was the day after I had watched the movie for the first time, and I was just sitting around thinking to myself, like, okay, Birdboy the Forgotten Children is not a movie that I would jump right back into to watch again, but it's definitely a movie that I would be, like, excited to tell someone about, if that makes sense. Like, it's a movie that I would be happy to share it with other people who I know like this kind of stuff, like this kind of tone, and heavy subject matter. So, I'll pause to read chats. Yes, I assume that was Purple's comment was referring to Gendy Tartakovsky, who's doing a lot of stuff, isn't he? He's just... Hotel Transylvania still going. I don't know if he directed this new one or not. Anyway, Alberto Vasquez, basically on a comic book, graphic novel. He did a short called Birdboy in 2011, shortest view online. Mostly focuses on Birdboy and Dinky, about 12 minutes long. That sounds cool. So yeah, it almost sounds like that's like a prequel to like give some background to those characters, because they have a montage of the characters Birdboy and Dinky sort of having a relationship within the movie, maybe like halfway through. But I'd like to see that fleshed out. And yeah, so I was aware of this graphic novel that it's based on. But when I went looking for it, all I could find was this wacky other thing called Birdboy, and also Owlboy, the video game, but it was this other, there were swords, and it was like a fantasy setting kind of thing, and I was like, I don't think that's the same unless this adaptation is like the most out there creative adaptation ever that just went completely off the rails and didn't really respect the source material. No, that's not the case. There is another graphic novel called Birdboy, Spanish artist. I think Vasquez was the original author, illustrator, I think, right? Or was it the other director guy? Anyway, that one, I haven't been able to find an English version of that graphic novel, which is disappointing because I would like to read it. Then again, maybe I would still get plenty of the story just from seeing the visuals. I think that would be great. But yeah, at least for this, I didn't have time to get the book beforehand, unfortunately. And even the Spanish version I found online was very expensive. I think it was almost $100. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I can find a PDF of it somewhere. I would like to support, but I don't even know if it's in print. Anyway, but that's some good background. Yeah, and I do think, and this is something I touched on in the video that'll go up tomorrow, I do think, wow, this music is so upbeat and happy for what we're actually talking about. Yeah, so I did find it, Hugo, on Amazon, but it's only the Spanish version, and it was pretty expensive. So it is there, but I feel like it's probably out of print at this point. Maybe I could check some international auction sites and stuff. We'll see. So that's the background, and I have a feeling that it being based on this graphic novel is one of the reasons for the film adaptation having just some really killer framing and composition. There are some fantastic visuals in this movie. The color palette is just excellent. It always felt like it fit the tone perfectly. The tone itself is also incredibly dark. I think that it's really meant to make you feel constricted and limited and kind of gross, and just upset generally. I did get the feeling at many different moments that the movie was just trying to make me feel bad, and that's not even a negative thing either necessarily, but definitely an observation. It's something that I think is very tangible when you're watching the movie for the first time. So that's another thing to be aware of in case folks are watching this video later. And one of my more in-depth thoughts on the movie, scatterbrain thoughts. Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone. And even just in terms of the content warning, as I already mentioned, tons of substance abuse stuff, tons of very graphic violence. Some very violent stuff is happening here. And just generally, yeah, characters that you would never want to run into in real life at all, even for a second, just like terrible, terrible people. Yeah, some very stark representations of extreme poverty, and the whole story itself is arguably a post-apocalyptic thing. In fact, I kind of think that there's an intro sequence, and this isn't really a spoiler either because it shows up in a lot of the trailers I've seen, is that it supposedly all takes place after some kind of nuclear accident or just some really horrible, disaster, and it's changed everything, and now everything's awful. I kind of feel like that was out of place. Like, I almost feel like I didn't really need an explanation for why the locations we see in the film feel the way they do. I think a lot of those environments kind of speak for themselves. But it was their choice. I have no doubt that is a story point in the graphic novel as well, so maybe they just figured, well, that's the setup. But yeah, it's just saying something about the visuals. Color palette's wonderful. It shifts quite a bit, of course, depending on locations and just the moments in the story. More intense moments tend to be, a lot of dark reds and pinks and purples, things like that, along with just pitch black. Yeah, animation itself is quite nice overall. Sort of twitchy animation style. It works perfectly. It does kind of look like a book, almost like a children's book at times with the cutesy character designs. Yeah. There's a lot to talk about here. And echoing one of my points, Purple says that when I heard Bird Boy, I did not expect the story to be about drug abuse. Yes, that was also my thing. And again, like, I don't I don't know whether I can blame the trailer for misleading me, because in a lot of ways I think the trailer did a good job of not revealing too much about the movie in advance, which I really appreciate in any trailer, really. But yeah, there was... I didn't know that it was like a strictly adult animation thing. It's really not for kids. It's really not for kids. I can't say that enough. Please don't show this to children. I think that would be kind of cruel, actually. So let's not do that. Hugo says that in the short film that came before the feature, it shows the warehouse blowing up and that it kills Dinky's biological father. Yeah, so Dinky is essentially our POV character. Bird Boy is arguably the main POV character, but like Dinky actually gives us a lot of dialogue and character interaction, and she moves around different locations, whereas Bird Boy is mostly detached from everything. Like, that's his whole character. He's got a lot of stuff to deal with. He has a lot of problems, many of which are drug-related problems. But Dinky's biological father is dead, and her new stepfather is like I guess he's like a dog, because Dinky's stepbrother is like a teeny weird dog that can barely speak words. It's mostly just a regular dog. But one of the funniest things is that I think it's both Dinky's stepdad and her stepbrother, since, you know, Dinky and her biological mother are mice, and they have the big ears. The stepfather and stepbrother wear, like, hats that give them mice ears, which I thought was very funny. And, like, it did a lot of filling in some background, and it did some storytelling without, you know, non-verbally, right? Hugo saying, the story is called Psychonauts and the Forgotten Children. I think they changed the name due to the game. Yes, I noticed that, because even in this version of the movie I watched, which was the G Kids distributed version, it's called Psychonauts, and, you know, PSI instead of PSY and all that stuff. I assume it's the Spanish for Psychonauts. And I thought that was very strange, especially because, you know, Psychonauts 2 just came out last month. I was like, okay, I can understand why they didn't want to do that, but then again, they didn't change it. They didn't make like a separate title card for this release. It was just the regular title, and then, you know, the subtitle, which is supposedly a translation, and it's not a translation at all. In fact, I don't even remember seeing the subtitle up there on the title card either. I think it just says Psychonauts, and that's it. Which is, yeah, it was... and I think, if I remember correctly, there's some variation of the term Psychonauts that refers to, it's kind of I think it, some groups have taken it as a term of, like, they've used it to refer to themselves, where they take, like, hallucinogens or other heavy controlled substances as, like, a potentially exploratory thing, like exploring the limits of the mind, expanding the mind, all that kind of stuff. Like, think Alan Watts, Terrence McKenna, guys like that, who saw hallucinogenic substances as, like, a legitimate path for exploring human psychology and, like, the bounds of human existence. It sounds all very high-minded, but I guess it... high-minded, literally. Yeah, so that's another little interesting tidbit, is that, yeah, they didn't really translate the title. It's basically just a different title, which is not crazy either. That's not, like, out of the ordinary. You have plenty of movies, live action or animated, when they're translated either, you know, just for other countries, other territories, other markets. They'll get new names all the time. It's actually kind of neat to look up the alternate names of just some famous movies that you've seen for when they were released in other countries. Because sometimes they'll be wildly different wildly different titles, and they seem to imply something about like, oh, this is apparently what people in that country responded more positively to. It's a very interesting topic, actually. But yeah, so the original title is not Birdboy. In fact, and maybe Hugo, because I know you were correcting some of the translation of the movie last week, or just clarifying something about the translation of some dialogue. So maybe you can comment on this as well. But it seems like different characters in the movie were referring to Birdboy with completely different names, but those different names would always get translated consistently to Birdboy, which is kind of confusing. So I was wondering if some versions of that name were just like Spanish word for bird, Spanish word for boy, which I forget. I mean, Nino, I guess. But bird, I don't know. Something with an O. But I was just curious about that because then, someone who's closer to him, such as Dinky, of course, just says bird boy, but, with the accent. So she says beard boy, I guess, something along those lines. So I wonder if it was like a familiarity thing, like they wanted to have that distinction between here's a character who doesn't really know bird boy, they're going to call him this one thing. But then his close friends and like romantic partners and people call him, by his quote unquote real name or nickname. So if you have any thoughts on that, feel free to share. But yeah, it was an interesting choice for sure. And I would be interested to see how they manage that if they ended up doing an English dub, which I don't think is very likely, actually. Purple says, heard of Psychonauts? Yeah, no, Psychonauts is cool. I was playing the second one a couple weeks ago because it's just out through Game Pass, and since I have Game Pass, I made a video about it. Yeah, I've just been doing it on there. I have to pick it back up because I was really having a fun time. I just, I didn't want to spend like 5-6 hours at a time playing the game. So I have not finished it. I'm only like 5 or 6 hours in, but I kind of love it. I love the creativity. The storytelling isn't really that it's pretty predictable in a lot of ways, but the environments especially, and just the way that they mess around with the ideas of, oh, you're actually in someone's brain, you're changing their thoughts and opinions about different things, you're connecting different thoughts, which is a gameplay platforming mechanic that also translates into the story. Like, it's pretty impressive the degree to which the themes and the subject matter of the story itself mesh with the actual gameplay that you're doing at any given moment. Lots of story, lots of cutscenes. I mean, if you're fine with that, it's not a big deal. There were a couple times where it's like, I kind of want to skip, but I want to know what happens, What were we talking about? We were talking about Birdboy. Oh, Birdboy. Oh, I need to move my arrow. I always forget to move the arrow. That shows us where we are in the discussion, you see, in the stream. Now we're down here. So what music do we have here? Let's do, that's fine. Okay. So what else do I have to say about Birdboy? Okay, yeah, I guess I can touch on potential influences or just other pieces of media, especially animated media, that it happened to remind me of when I was watching. Well, not animated, but definitely Mouse, Art Spiegelman's Mouse graphic novels. I think it's just 2 books, but about his father's experiences during the Holocaust. So it's using, as a similar thing to Birdboy, it's using cutesy character designs to dig into serious subject matter, and then it creates a very clear and pretty strong juxtaposition between those two things, a sort of dissonance. It also did remind me a little bit of Ernest et Celestine in terms of some of the visuals. Some of the backgrounds in particular seem to have like a similar level of detail or lack thereof. Watercolor type textures are just things that looked physically painted. Doesn't mean that they necessarily were physically painted and then scanned in. They could have been whatever. It could have been digital. Still looked great. Very different visual tone, obviously, than Ernest et Celestine, but Still thought it worked very, very well. What else did it remind me of? It reminded me of an absolutely excellent short film. It's about a 30-minute short film called Cat Soup. And it was directed by a Japanese animator named Masaki Yuasa. It's probably not the correct pronunciation, but and I think it was released early 2000s, like maybe 2001. So this would be its 20th anniversary, if that's right. Wonderful short film. Yeah, it's just about two cat siblings, and one of the cat siblings has half of their soul taken away, so they have to go travel through all these extremely surreal environments and situations and meet all these crazy characters. And it's one of my all-time favorites. I really love it. And I think it's just an excellent example of, creative camera angles and use of perspective and environments and just pure creativity. Just some of the ideas they throw out in that short are really fantastic. And I think the whole thing's just on YouTube, so you can just watch it anytime. I rewatch it. But yes, Birdboy reminded me a decent bit of Cat Soup as well. What else? Yeah, I think it has a decent amount of artistic influence or cross-pollination going on. It definitely didn't, completely blow my mind in terms of its creativity or presentation. But it's definitely something different. And beyond everything else that I might say about Birdboy, The Forgotten Children, which, by the way, I think they can snip that subtitle off of there. Like, I don't think it's very good. I still feel positively about it not purely, but substantially, because it's something very different. I'm not used to seeing a ton of stuff like this. There are, as I've mentioned, similar things out there, but certainly not lately. I haven't discovered anything like this in the last year or so, I guess is a way of putting it. And so for that alone, worth checking out. If you can handle the subject matter, definitely worth looking into. If you can't handle the subject matter, maybe put it on mute. No, even then you're gonna have to deal with some pretty difficult visuals multiple times. There are two scenes in particular I'm thinking of right now that, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Like, they are difficult to watch. Also some really interesting subplots, and maybe this is speaking to something where maybe the graphic novel's really long. Maybe it gets into some world building and expands a lot of characters. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that was just the plan originally. But here in the movie version, I did see plenty of room for just, looking into other characters, giving them their own arcs. And it really does jump around quite a bit between we have Dinky and her buddies. They're sort of the main group that we follow along with. Then we have like the extremely poor rats who scrounge for copper in trash dumps, essentially. We have Birdboy himself, who does not speak, and he's just having a real tough time with things. He's dealing with a lot of stuff. And then a much more minor section is that we have the local police, which is this older cop who's grizzled and awful and cynical, and his trainee, who's this kid. He's a classmate of Dinky and her friends, who apparently dropped out of school and was like, "I'm a cop now. Isn't that neat?" And it's also clear that he still has some kind of conscience in him. So there is definitely room to develop stuff a lot more. Something else to mention about this movie is that it has a very short runtime. It is only about, I think it's an hour, 15 minutes and change. It is pretty darn short. And that's not crazy short for an animated movie, especially not for an animated movie that looks this good, because just makes sense, right? Like, it just makes sense that it requires more work to get something looking like this and to achieve this art direction. You're not going to apply the same art direction to, let's say, a Fox animation domination sitcom. It's just not going to happen. It's going to get outsourced. Everything's going to be done as cheaply as possible and as quickly as possible. So I'm not down on the fact that it's. I'm not down on the fact that it's like relatively short, and especially given the tone of the movie, I was more than happy to escape. Escaping is another pretty consistent theme in the movie. But that is something to keep in mind. It is pretty darn short, which is good and bad, depending on who you are. About watching a guy talk about stuff. I don't know why you would do that. Who is this guy? Some guy who's just talking about some movie from Spain about a bird or something like that. By the way, Skatebird came out today. There's another bird-related thing. Apparently, it's awful. I just thought that was a funny coincidence. Birdball's asking if we could get an arm muscle reveal. No, I don't really know what that means. No. I don't know what to... If you're really desperate for some arm shots, I'm pretty sure my arms are in plenty of other videos I made. But I'm not super motivated to do anything like that. Hugo says, don't forget Zachariah the fisherman. I did forget that was his name, but I definitely didn't forget about Zachariah in his story. Specifically at Zachariah dealing with his mother, sort of. It's quite a subplot there. It is really something. It is a bit of a trip. Do I have any other big things in my notes here? I feel like I've just randomly hit on a lot of different stuff. Parents and parenting, it's another big, I guess we can call it a motif of the movie rather than a theme, because a theme would probably be something closer to messaging. If it was trying to say something specific about parenting, I didn't really get there. Like I don't think it was the focus, but it was a very consistent image, is, parent, daughter or son, right? Or multiple daughters, sons, that kind of thing. In vastly different living conditions. That's another part of it. There's potentially some class a lot of real world stuff. It's definitely trying to tackle quite a bit. And Hugo says, I think it was all done in-house, I guess the animation and everything, and took about 5 years. Yeah, that sounds like spot on for what I expected, I guess, after actually seeing the thing. Yeah, it looks careful, it looks small scale, and it just has such a strong there's such strong art direction here. I'm guessing, again, because of its relationship to the graphic novel and the involvement of the author. Do we call them authors of a graphic novel? Because if they're doing the illustration as well, creator, I don't know. Anyway, since he was involved, that makes sense to me. That they just had the strong vision and took as much time as they needed to actually get it out, which is another reason why I'm kind of disappointed that I don't remember hearing about this really at all. I don't think it got any kind of Oscar nomination. In fact, I would be kind of surprised if it did get an Oscar nomination. Maybe Hugo can check up on that for us if he feels like it. But that's usually at least a decent way to hear about some international animation, whether it's the short film category or feature film stuff. But then it tends to be dominated by children's animation, regardless of country of origin. Yeah, it's a lot. Hugo says the budget shows that it costs about 1 million euros. Okay. Yeah. So I guess it would have. I'm sure it would have had to have been a pretty small team too, working on the thing. So, yeah, again, makes sense. Although I don't think, it definitely doesn't come off to me as low budget. If anything, like maybe the runtime kind of hints at the fact that this was a smaller scale thing. But beyond that, it certainly feels professional. It certainly feels like it is worthy of attention and discussion within the animation community. As I was saying at the top of the stream, so long ago, I really haven't seen too much online discourse about this movie so far. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm sure there are a few videos out there. I'm sure there are a good number of reviews. But here's the thing, like, just purely observationally, we can figure out, you know, whether it was a big deal at the time of release, and we know it wasn't because we didn't hear about it. You know what I mean? Like, when something blows up like that, when something gets a lot of hype, whether it's Oscar buzz or just a cult following, or people bring it back to life through talking about it online, you end up hearing about it one way or the other, whether you see stuff on YouTube or Reddit or wherever else. And that did not happen with Birdboy at all. I really hadn't heard of it at all. So yeah, I don't expect it to be successful. And Hugo confirms that, I suppose. Hugo says that the film won Best Animated Feature at the 2016 Goya Awards, and that was the only accolades that it received. Okay. And I'm sure the Goya Awards don't, you know, restrict their selections to, like, work that is somewhat synchronous with Goya's work, but this one certainly seems that way. I think this one definitely has, you know, something going in terms of, like, not referencing Goya directly, although some of the creepy bird monsters kind of look that way. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's that. Purple reminds me that there's streams of the Insert Burger Pun, which is a Bob's Burgers podcast I used to do. It hasn't been super active for like a year or so, but yeah, no, my face is on there. Yeah. Thanks. No, you know what? In case anyone's I mean, I don't know why anybody would be curious about my face. It's not really important to the channel, but in case you are, just Tintin. Like, picture Tintin or Vault Boy. That's more or less the image, you know, you can keep in mind. But yeah, Hugo says, don't know how Half A, our other chat regular, one of our other chat regulars who recommended the movie initially, don't know how Half A Studio heard about this. It looks like it was a little big in Spain. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, I don't know. Half A does seem kind of tapped in general. Like, they seem to have a pretty good, you know, feel for, yeah, just contemporary animation stuff. So, yeah, I'm kind of impressed. Anyone who introduces me to something like this, you get some points. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely something different. It's definitely something interesting. And that alone gives me enough motivation to check something out. It definitely interests me so much more than, oh my gosh, yeah, animated sitcoms and stuff. I watched some of The Queen. Is it called The Queen? No, it's called The Prince. It's on HBO Max. It's an animated sitcom. Orlando Bloom is in it, and some other people. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Those YouTube channels, the YouTube channels who, you know, are a little bit self-righteous and love to trash stuff that's very obviously bad, they finally picked up on that show, The Prince, and they have started talking smack about it. It's like, okay, cool. Thank you for kind of validating my the feelings I already had about the show. But yeah, I watched about 3 episodes of The Prince, and just, if that is what it's called, and I was just like, no way. It's just, they all look the same. I'm sure they're all outsourced for animation in South Korea, like, which is fine, but they do it because it's, you know, cheaper, and they can really press them for time. I don't know if those people are getting paid. I hope they're treated well, but, like, my gosh, they end up so ugly. This and Housebroken, what was the other Fox show I talked about? Duncanville with Amy Poehler. It just feels like it is exactly the same look every time. It's almost impressive in a weird way that every single show in this style is able to achieve just exactly the same art direction, with the smallest tweaks to, like, you know, character design. I don't know, little stuff like that. Maybe it happens to take place in a different environment, but yeah, I find it to be very silly. Purple says, Nike, oh, thanks for stopping by, Purple. Hope you have a good one. Hugo is clarifying about Goya Awards. Goya Awards is given out by the Academy of Cinematographic Arts and Sciences of Spain. Okay, so the Spain equivalent of the Academy. has a specific award, I assume for animated work, animated features. But yes, knowing nothing about the award, it does seem that this movie deserved it. I do think it is incredibly impressive visually. Some of the writing, arguably not super effective, or like it's not necessarily delivering a very specific message. Not that it has to, but I think it would have had to have been a lot more uplifting and upbeat to get more mainstream attention. Just my impression. I don't know. That's just my feel of things. Yeah. But that's that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I have too much else to say about Birdboy. There is another specific point or argument that I get into in the Birdboy video kind of review discussion thing that'll be going up tomorrow morning. So if you want to hear some more on that, feel free to check out that video. But otherwise, yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. I think we got into stuff just fine. It really was something. It really was something different. And I do have quite a bit of respect for it. Oh, my goodness. So, in that case, I will kind of slowly move on to our next section here. We'll see. I know we don't have a ton of viewers right now, so we'll see how long the stream goes. But yeah, I really did want to play some Unbeatable on stream at least once. I guess we could also do it next week. I don't know. But I tested it out earlier. I really knocked down the visuals so that it could run okay with OBS. But I do think it's a really nice counterpoint to Birdboy talk. It's much lighter in tone. Oh my goodness. Oh, Birdboy. You've invaded my dreams. Not really. Let's go back to Animal Crossing music. I need some joy here. Oh, yes. I should just do an Animal Crossing stream every week. That would at least force me to go back to the game. This is good. This is it's definitely morning music. But specifically, I feel like it's foggy morning music when you have a porch. You know what I mean? You can sit out on the porch with a cup of something, maybe Earl Grey. I don't know what you're into. Yeah. I did get to see some Goya stuff in Madrid at the Prado. It's the Prado Museum, correct? I know. I mean, of course, there are multiple museums in Madrid, but that's the big one. And I think they maybe have the largest collection of Goyas anywhere. Potentially. But in particular, of course, it's sort of his most famous stuff is the black paintings, right? And, they look shocking to someone who's not super familiar with that period in art and everything and art history stuff. So they're just sort of entertaining on that immediate visual level. But it's always the story for me with the black paintings that hooks me. And other people talk about this too. I've heard different versions of the story. That apparently Goya's black paintings were towards the end of his life when he probably wasn't doing so well psychologically. I don't know if it's accurate when people say, oh, he's going crazy and that makes the art cool because it's weird. I don't know. I haven't confirmed that. But apparently he wasn't painting on canvases or panels. I think he painted the black paintings directly on some walls. I don't know if it was wooden panel walls or what, or if it was some kind of stucco surface or whatever. But I do think, he hadn't intended for people to see them. He wasn't going to display these or anything like that. He wasn't going to sell them. And they were very dark. just literally, visually, which I think is the reason they're called the black paintings, not just because of the content. But they're wonderful, and those are wonderful to see in person. You know, there's certain, I don't know, I feel like there's certain works of visual art that I can see online and I get the gist, you know, but other ones, seeing them in person is just a completely different experience, and I think is much more fulfilling and potentially intimate and stimulating. But I did really enjoy getting to see some of Goya's stuff in person a number of years ago at this point. But that was a good time. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. Hugo says Alberto Vasquez also did a short film called Sangre de Unicornio, Unicorn Blood, which I think will be the base of Unicorn Wars, which has a trailer. Oh, so okay. So Vasquez is directly working with Genndy Tartakovsky on Unicorn Blood? Is that the deal? Because that's what Purple was saying, I think, right? That that Gendy's next thing was going to be Unicorn Blood? I need to look this up now. Sorry. Let me hop on to Chrome here. Unicorn Blood. What do we got? Oh, what? Oh, it pulled up an article in the Harry Potter Compendium. That's not what I was looking for. Unicorn Blood is a 2013 short. Okay, from Vasquez. So what was Purple saying about is Tartakovsky really doing something with this? I don't know. Maybe the wires got crossed. Maybe I misunderstood something. But that would seem a strange choice to me for Tartakovsky to work with this. I mean, I don't know. It could work. I just didn't think they were on the same scale or like budget level, you know. Okay. Well, regardless, you know, even if it's just Vasquez and his existing team, whether they're the ones working on this, I'd still be down. Hugo, yeah, you might, yeah, Unicorn Warriors, yeah, that sounds right. So just completely different stuff that both have to do with unicorns. Okay, why is everyone all of a sudden? Now I find something, Unicorn Warriors Eternal, which is an upcoming series from Genndy Tartakovsky. So so it was my fault. I mixed them up. Unicorn Blood and Unicorn Warriors Eternal, which is both hard to say and kind of a stupid title. But yes, and it's on Cartoon Network. Okay. All right. Cool, man. I'm fine with that. But yeah, kind of a funny coincidence that it's just all has ties to literal unicorns, I suppose. Seems kind of strange to me. All right. But otherwise, I'll finish up my coffee, and I will. I do want to play a little bit of this game. I don't know if I'll be sticking around for another hour and a half if people need to leave and stuff. But I'm gonna play at least a little bit of it just because I enjoy it. It brings me joy. And I want to see if it looks okay on the stream, because I potentially want to stream this game other times too. So it'll be a dry run for that as well. It is kind of a shame that Half A couldn't come back out for this stream, since they recommended Birdboy originally. And there's some other folks too. I think we're just hitting a bad time for other people to come to the stream. That's all right. That's fine. This is just the time we're doing right now. But yeah, what was it? Mendrake was out for another stream, I think, a while back. That was fun. Got a lot of good discussions going, you know. We were doing the arcade simulator. That was pretty good. I haven't been back to that one since that stream, I don't think. But yeah, we'll see. I've also been toying around with the idea of doing random streams, just like whenever I have some free time, and whoever shows up, like it's no big deal. But I don't know if that would be good for analytics. I have a feeling that like YouTube would see, nobody watching the streams, and they would be like, okay, we're not going to promote your stuff anymore. Seems like a likely outcome to me. Hugo says, I guess Half-A fell asleep. Yeah, that is an important thing to know. Not to give out too much info, but yeah, Half-A apparently is in a very different time zone, and so it's just not a great time. Not a great time to watch some random guy talk about movies. And play kind of anime games, which is what I'm going to get into. Let me get set up here. So first thing I'm going to need to do is lower this volume. Let's fade out this music. Cool. And now, let's see if I can get this set up. Okay. Phone will be here. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Yes, it's an important warning here. Everybody take note of this warning. Oh, wait, it's not even on screen. Hold on. Yeah. Yes. There we go. Look at that. Boop. Boop. I'm pressing the buttons. I'm pressing the buttons you want me to press. Uh-oh. Man, I just did all this stuff earlier. Oh, it's working now. Okay, let me check levels. To check out the desktop here. Pretty cool. I'll turn it up a little bit more than that. I think we can stand to have it a little bit louder. And then I have my chat over here on another device. So please feel free to continue to chat at me, but just be aware that once I'm in a song here, I'll probably be kind of concentrated on that. So just a heads up. But I love this game. I did a video about all the options this game has. I think it has some really great options, varied options for gameplay too, which we'll see in a bit. But yeah, I'm really knocked down resolution and quality here. I can usually run it at full blast. But for it to work with the stream too, it wasn't going to happen. So we're just doing this. Even the menu, it's very nice. Should I start the story over? Nah, maybe another time. This is fine. Okay, let's do it. I hope this music doesn't get me. Nah, I'm sure this is fine. I'm sure it's fine. But this song's okay to start with. No, let's start with this song. As you can see, we have quite a few different difficulty options, starting with tutorial, beginner, easy, normal, hard, unbeatable. So that's 6 difficulty modes per song. I have not done any of the unbeatable difficulties successfully. Might not be too surprising to hear. But yeah, I usually go normal or hard. I'm going to try just normal for now. Nice and easy. And then down here, you can turn on a no fail option if you just want to if you don't want to get kicked out of the level while you're playing it and messing up. Not gonna do that. I think I'll be fine here. There's also an assist mode, but we're just gonna run it. We're just gonna do it. Okay. All right. We're going for the high score. Okay. When it's just on the beat and it's like 4/4 time, it's very easy. Oh, switch it up. Very easy stuff. Sorry, I was checking the stream for a second. Wanted to make sure it wasn't a slideshow. Although the frame rate you're seeing right now is much worse than what I'm getting. I want to make a note of that. It's running beautifully for me, like 60 frames plus here. But yeah, I love a good rhythm game. Never got to play Guitar Hero too much growing up. I never had the set. I didn't have a system that could run it, but love the idea. Or Parappa, or Guitar Man. Never did it. We're doing pretty good. All right. These monster designs are kind of interesting. Oh, mixing it up. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. People often stream playing the full game. Yeah, I believe that. It's pretty short. Like the it's just a demo. So like the actual story stuff, full combo. Does that mean a combo like the whole level? It's not that long. You could probably go through the whole story, quote unquote, in like 40 minutes, half an hour. If you're really moving, you just have to make enough progress on each. I guess you just have to pass each of the major songs. Basically, there are extra songs too. They're remixes and stuff. I love it. I've been playing this so much for like the whole summer, basically. Where's the tutorial song? This is pretty short. I like this one. I like this one too. Let's do it. We don't need any of... Nah, it's fine. It's fine. Oh. Okay. 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 I have some feelings on the blue guys, but I'll save that for another time. Okay. All right. Okay. More blue guys. It's fine. All right, all right, all right. Okay. There we go. Not too bad. Hugo asks, what controls am I using? I'm using a controller for this. I'm not crazy about the keyboard controls. They're fine. It's fine for something with digital input. But yeah, so instead I'm using specifically I'm using one of the 8-bit Do controllers. I think they have really nice D-pads, and people kept telling me about them. And they really are very nice. So I got one used. But yeah, it works on every system. You know, it's just a USB, Bluetooth kind of thing. But I love it for this. Yeah, so I just do... the only inputs you need for this game are just 2 sets. So you can use like one of the any of the face buttons and any of the D-pad directions or stick directions, I guess. And that's it. But you just have different combos and different like... yeah, different types of inputs for the different sorts of things that they present you with. The different, like, monsters, I guess they are. But yeah. I'll try not to just play the entire game right now. Because I do think it would be nice to play it with the story stuff, too. Even though it is pretty minimal. But yeah, it's something. This is fun. Oh, how about this? Regardless of how many people we have here at the time... I want to do at least one of these at the unbeatable difficulty, and I'll turn on no fail so that it doesn't just end after 10 seconds. Not yet. I want to do some more stuff at like regular mode, and then yeah, I'll do this. I will turn on no fail. I'm not ashamed. This is a cool song. I like this one. All right. Okay. Got to be in the zone for this one. Okay. Yep. I can handle this. Okay. Oh, uh-oh. It started. Oh boy. This is alright. I know it's just gonna go off the rails. Oh. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't ready. Okay. All right. Oh no, I missed it. Okay. Okay. All right. Wow, it's pretty hard to do commentary while doing this. Okay, nice break. All right. Oh. Oh, solo. I feel like I'm doing okay. Ugh. I think we're towards the end. Oh. Oh. Oh, my heart. New high score. Woof. Woof. Oh no, is the stream lagging? Yeah, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, it totally is. Escape. Escape. Close out Steam. Get rid of display capture. Webcam. Back. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. We got a ton of lag there, and I know exactly why. I'm sorry about that. I tried it out. It worked earlier today, so it's a shame that it wasn't working for us now. That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I was dropping a bunch of frames. Sorry about that. Oh, I can put my music back on too. Back to Katamari, please. Peaceful. Only a little. Okay, yeah. On the I have another device monitoring the stream, and it froze up a lot there. So I was like, okay, all right. But yeah, if it isn't too bad, overall, I would potentially like to stream that game. Maybe in full, maybe just, you know, to show it off to people in the future. I just like playing it. But yeah, I think just between like the computer trying to run everything and run the graphics, and then OBS also uses a lot of the GPU stuff, on top of the internet connection being trash. I think it was just a lot of stuff all at once. So that's fine. We got a few songs in. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I really like that game. I have a pretty good time with it. Oh yeah, there's the music. Okay, cool. But anyway, yeah, I probably won't be streaming for too much longer. Right, sweetie? Do you want to say hello into the microphone? No? You don't want to say hello? Can we get the camera? Do you want to say hello? Oh. Yeah? Yes? Hello, football lover. 45. Thank you for joining us. I don't know whether your favorite song is something from Unbeatable or from Katamari, but yeah. And Hugo's saying, yeah, I don't know why the movie is called Forgotten Children, as they don't show up until Act 3 of Birdboy. Yeah, no, totally. I think I said that in my video too. And I mentioned it earlier in the stream where, like, you don't need that subtitle. You don't need the other segment of that title. Just call it Birdboy. It's fine. People might mix it up with Birdman or Owl Boy, but that's okay. What are you? You're just okay. Just sitting right there. But yeah, we tried to play a little bit of Unbeatable, the anime rhythm game. Maybe I'll try it next week if we can get it to run a little bit better and the internet isn't so bad. But yeah, OBS was having a tough time with that. So, oh well, that's okay. That's okay. Maybe next time around. Hugo says, what other show or movie do you want to see? A few weeks talked about the Loud House movie. Yeah, I had heard of the Loud House movie coming out on Netflix. I never watched the show. I didn't even know what it was until I saw the trailer for the movie. I mean, I guess, we could potentially look at that one for discussion next week. But I don't know. I don't know if I would miss out on a bunch of stuff because I haven't seen the show. I don't know if I need that context. But I'm definitely open to watching it. So if that's what we're feeling for next week, that works for sure. But yeah, it's the whole thing. There we go. Yeah, now our frame rate is stabilized. Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, it's a fun Katamari song. We got a few Katamari songs in the mix that I hope I don't get copyright claims for. I haven't really checked up on that. How about you? Do you just want to sit right there in front of the... Yep. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yes. All right. Thank you. Back to sleep? Okay. But yeah, Hugo, if you're feeling the Loud House movie for our next discussion, I'm cool with that. It would definitely... Well... I assume it would be a nice departure from Birdboy, just because I don't expect the Loud House movie for children on Netflix to have like heroin and horrible gore and violence and murder and poverty. Maybe it does, but I don't get that vibe from the trailer. So I think that could be a nice contrast to the Birdboy experience. You know what I mean? Hugo says I saw it does need to show. You've only seen the first season, a little bit of the second season. Okay. Yeah, it seemed like it was a pretty young show. Like it seemed like it was kind of for younger kids, maybe like tweens. I don't know if that's accurate, but I really don't know anything about that show. So, and on top of the Loud House, it sounds like the Owl House. Which is another thing we did for discussion, right? The Disney show. So it does get a little bit confusing there. Yeah, actually, you know what? You know what? Oh, sorry. Thanks for clarifying, Hugo. You don't really need the show. It doesn't need the show. Okay. Okay. Well, then I'd be up for that. I'll write down a note. I'll write down a note to watch the Loud House movie on Netflix, because I do have Netflix, so that should not be difficult. Cool. And you know what? In a little bit, even if it's just for me, I will try Unbeatable one more time. I think I want to try one song on the Unbeatable difficulty real quick. So I'll try that before wrapping up the stream. I don't know. I'll say, I don't know, maybe end at 7:45, 8 o'clock, something like that. But yeah, man, I got to open some windows. It's kind of warm. Hugo was saying that the show is about, it's about kids, a bunch of kids, and there's a lot of toilet humor. Okay. So kind of like classic Nickelodeon, or classic Nickelodeon in my eyes, where it was a little bit more blue than the stuff we see there today. Not that I watch a ton of Nickelodeon today, so maybe I'm speaking out of turn. But yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Yeah, I will try Unbeatable again. I'm going to try a song on the hardest difficulty. The stream might lag. This is just something we have to accept. There is risk in all things. We're just going to see how it goes. So first I need to get it set up again. Sorry for the whiplash, switching between inputs here, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Okay. Hugo says, I only saw the movie because it has nothing to do. Chris Savino. Before you watch it, can you also see the Me Tune by Samantha Bee? Oh, okay. I guess so. I'll write that down too, although I have I know have some expectations for what that is based on Samantha Bee. Does she still have a show? Is that still a thing in the post-Trump era? I have some feelings about her. Unbeatable will beat me, but I'll turn off the beating part, so that'll make it better. Okay, Katamari Music, you're going to take a break here. Now it's going to connect to Steam and get this going. I'm ready. I have to try at least one of these just for my own sake. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. If you have some epilepsy issues, please be careful with this one. Yep. I assume they have options to turn some of that stuff off. I would hope so. Okay. All right. Okay, now I need to turn on display capture. Turn down this audio a little bit. Here. Okay. All right. We're going to try it. We're going to try it. Which song is the question? I should keep an eye on the chat. Please let me know if you have a song you would like me to try on Unbeatable difficulty, which is up here. We got Empty Diary. We got Proper Rhythm. We got Mirror. Forever Now. Waiting. Familiar. Iris, I guess. I don't know it. Yeah, it's like a remix thing. Syntheon. Empty Diary remix. Forever Now remix. Proper Rhythm remix. I think that's more or less the loop. Yeah. Hugo says, it's very good report. Samantha B, I assume. It's really good reporting with full frontal, and yes, she still has the show on TBS. I don't know if Kane will only see it on YouTube. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people do with like John Oliver's show and stuff, that like political comedy news shows kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I could pay the premium, or I could just watch the highlights online, or even the full shows. In some cases, they just upload online. I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, I haven't checked out her show for a long time, so I don't want to do Empty Diary. I don't think so. Oh, it's tough. This one's short, at least, but apparently I've tried that on Unbeatable. Okay, let's do Waiting. Let's do it. No, we already did that song. Nah, let's do a different song. Yeah, okay. Whatever. I will turn on No Fail. This is gonna be rough. Okay. Okay. Alright. Oh no. Oh, no way. Oh, no. Oh, my God. I'm fine with this. Oh my gosh. I'm just mashing buttons at this point. Oh no. I like this part. Those double holds that are shifted, like the start time is shifted. I can do these guys. Oh, not that one. Oh. The game is unimpressed with me. Let me check the chat real quick. It's just the same. Okay. All right. How about this? I'll do one more song at like a human difficulty level just to boost my confidence, and then we'll probably wrap up the stream, I think. But oh man. Woof. Okay. Well, now I know. What can I do at hard difficulty? I can do some stuff at hard difficulty. Apparently this one I can do pretty well. Chronic energy was there and truly appreciated. Yeah, you know. Sure, let's go with that. It was definitely on purpose. No fail for sure, but I think I can handle this one. I usually do okay. All right. Okay. I don't like when they switch like that. Just kind of have to guess. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 Sorry for the lack of commentary. Okay. All right. All right. Much more chilled out. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 Okay, I think we did it. Okay, I think we're good there. I could do something on hard. Unbeatable is, yeah. Yeah. People can do it. It's fine, but I'm not going to, yeah. That's enough of that for today. It's okay. We did some stuff. I'm happy with that. Sorry, let me go back to my webcam. Do this. No, webcam, show up. There you go. There you go. Cool. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I think at this point we're just going to start wrapping up the stream. That's most of everything, man. We did it all, didn't we? We sure did talk about Birdboy. That was a bit of a trip. And my gosh. Tried some unbeatable stuff. I don't think we got too much lag in there. I guess people can tell me how bad it was visually. But I had some fun. I'm getting to the point where, like, yeah, I just want to do stuff on the stream that I would be doing anyway. And I certainly have ended up playing that game quite a bit in my free time. So, yeah, it was just, you know, it's just a good fit. But, yeah, I'd be happy to watch the Loud House movie for next week's discussion on the stream. Yeah, we'll get some other suggestions next week maybe. And I think I have some other stuff that people have mentioned previously that I will return to, that I would like to check out. But otherwise, if anyone is interested in checking out my my video for on Birdboy, not really a review, but something, it'll be up tomorrow morning, sometime in the morning. Yeah, we'll go from there. I'm also working on other videos all the time, so anything could show up just whenever. But, yeah, I got some other projects in the works, too. So it should be fun. We should have some fun stuff coming to the channel real soon. Oh, sorry, Hugo. You said something here. Let me check. Hugo said, what about the Cuphead show, which is based on the game? It's coming out fall 2021. Yeah, I mean, I will probably watch that when it comes out. Based on the one or two clips that I've seen so far, I've been very disappointed with what I've seen. And I kind of expected to be disappointed by that show. I won't judge it fully until it's actually released, of course, but my goodness, I was not having a fun time with those clips. I don't think they're going to be doing it on the cheap, right? Like, no matter what, the appeal of the visuals in Cuphead is that they really put a ton of effort into doing golden age of animation style work, visuals, tons of squash and stretch and characters morphing all over the place and incredible character designs. And the show just looks like run-of-the-mill cheapo animation that was probably outsourced to South Korea, done as quickly as possible for little coin. Sorry, going off on a tangent, but I will watch that show when it comes out. I haven't heard if there's a specific release date for it. But who knows? Even if it's a terrible failure, I guess that could be fun to watch and talk about too, in certain cases. So, yeah, I haven't forgotten about that one for sure. But I'm also not like falling off my chair in excitement, you know. So that's that. That's the situation with the Cuphead show. But yeah, I'd totally be down to watch that for a discussion. Who knows? Maybe I'll make a video about it at some point. I don't know. But yeah, cool. But otherwise, that's just about it, I think, for the stream. So as always, thank you to the people who showed up, stopped by the stream live. Thank you to anybody who watches the stream archive later on. And thanks for stopping by the channel. I put up stuff as often as I can, basically. And yeah, between animation and video games, been doing quite a bit lately. And I have a lot of upcoming projects that I'm excited about. So hopefully folks will stick around and check out all the stuff we're doing here on the channel. We're steadily getting some kind of subscribers, so who knows? Maybe we'll see a spike soon, and some more videos will take off. That would be a nice surprise. But in the meantime, yeah, we're gonna keep streaming every Thursday at 6 p.m. for as long as I can, and my schedule allows it, and for as long as people keep showing up. So cool. But yeah, I think that's just about everything. Did I forget something else? I hope not. Yeah, great. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great evening and coming up to a great weekend as well. But that's all. Time to sign off, and I'll see you later. Oh, now I have to actually stop the stream. Okay, goodbye.